because the Red Sox are the hottest team in baseball. And to me, they're the biggest story in baseball. Because when Craig Breslow traded Rafi Devers and told us that he would win more games than he would lose at the end of the season when they looked back because of this trade, and people were all over Breslow like he had put the in incompetence. People were furious with John Henry, throwing away the season. How could you trade Devers? All of the things that were said because none of the people saying them have actually ever traded a player. What we tried to focus you on was the addition by subtraction. Those were the words we used. We were trying to explain to you, like yelling into the wind surrounded by seagulls and crows. But we were trying to tell you that sometimes it doesn't matter what the return is, because the return is actually getting rid of the player you are trading. Sometimes because of money, sometimes because of clubhouse considerations, or even performance. Heaven forbid you trade someone who's just not performing for you, who you have to pay a tremendous amount of money to. You're going to hear this throughout the show today, the theme of spending money ought to make you happy enough. Because God knows when we don't spend money, you're angry. So spending money ought to be all that matters, except you get angry when you spend money and don't win, and you don't get credit when you don't spend money and do win because you could have won more. Am I frustrated on a Monday morning? You bet your sweet bippy I am. I'm not going to do the victory lap for Breslow. It's early. I'm not going to do the victory lap for myself. It's early. But I'm going to tell you that the Red Sox are 15-9 since they traded Devers. The Giants are only 11-13. I'm going to tell you that the Red Sox are heading into this All-Star break up in third place behind the Blue Jays and Yankees. But take a look at the wild card standings, and you may just find them there. You may find that they've got quite a few All-Stars who are willing to pitch in the game, so are there. You may find that it's a team that has a level of cohesion that they didn't have with Devers. And the naysayers, the Yankee fans out there, are saying, oh, look at their schedule. Look who they were beating. Look who they have to play after the break. And none of it is relevant to me. What is relevant is that these baseball people, when you're living with players, you tend to make the right decisions no matter how unpopular they are. They're chasing the Toronto Blue Jays, who have a 2-game lead over the Yankees. Toronto had a unique opportunity heading into the break to create some distance from the Yankees and Red Sox, and it didn't work. They were playing the White Sox and then the Athletics, and they ended up going 3-3 on that 6-game trip to end the first pre-All-Star break part of the season. And the Yankees had won a bunch of games. They ended up losing their last 2 to the Cubs, but they were able to close the gap on the Blue Jays instead of the Blue Jays widening the gap. I want to have you understand what a 2-game lead is, because it's a little different when we look at it from inside baseball versus just looking at the stands and saying, oh, we're 2 games back, or oh, we're 2 games up. We are looking at the team we are chasing. We're looking at their schedule. We're looking at their numbers. We're analyzing whether or not they are there legitimately, whether they are there temporarily, whether they can be caught or can't. The Blue Jays and Yankees are going through this now, as the Yankees are rumored. I don't know if you saw it, Coke. It was great. I think it was John Heyman. Yankees expected to make big moves. I don't want to give John credit for something if it's not him. I'm sorry, but it may be him. Yankees expecting big moves at the deadline. I always like it when teams make big moves. That's what we tried to do. And then I remind everybody, which you're going to hear me do from now till July 31st, and then again in September, and then again in October. I will keep mentioning these names until this show ends in 20 years. Adam Duvall, Rosario, Soler. Terrible trade deadline for the Braves. They won a World Series with those guys. So stop with the, we're getting big names. We got to get big names. The New York Yankees are 5th right now in the American League in defense. They're 7th in ERA. They're 4th in average. That seems mediocre. They're 1st in home runs, 1st in runs scored, 1st in OPS, and they've got a plus 111 run differential. Not too shabby on the offensive side. It's why people are saying, hey, if you can just get Eugenio Suarez and you can get him over from the Diamondbacks and you put him in this lineup, we've got Stanton back. Even though Volpe can't hit and can't field, it doesn't matter. We can win it. We're going to club people to death. Well, I think that teams have learned that that's not the way to do it. You have to have pitching. 7th in ERA means you are an average pitching staff. And that's what the Yankees have. The Blue Jays, on the other hand, are 1st in average. Way to go. But 12th in home runs, 6th in runs scored, 5th in OPS with a terrible pitching staff, 12th in ERA, and a terrible defense, 9th in defense. So the Blue Jays are looking right now and they're saying, well, we're in 1st place, but our run differential compared to the Yankees is mediocre. Their offense is way better. It's not that our pitching is shining. Even the Yankees have better pitching. Therefore, we have 2 choices. If we want to maintain our lead in the post-All-Star break part of the season, we are going to have to be aggressive at the trade deadline because we are being chased by the hottest team in baseball, the Red Sox, and a team that, looking at the numbers and looking at the team, we have the feeling they're going to catch us.